Welcome to the Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community Podcast. I'm your host, Patrice Tsague. Well, we have with us in studio one of my favorite Kenyan couples and two of my favorite Kenyan people. We have with us Paul and Joyce Kiiru. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thank you.
Well, Paul and Joyce just completed the BSA, Business Success Accelerator. Prior to that, this is a group coaching program. They've been in it for a year. Prior to that, they had completed Biblical Entrepreneurship course. And out of that, they launched a company called Love It Juice. And so I wanted to come in studio to talk about their journey and their experience. And so, guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, Paul, Joyce, you're part of a country that is just taking the world by storm in terms of biblical entrepreneurship. You have an amazing leader, Frank, and you guys are. First, how did it feel to be a part of this movement in Kenya? That is all these, you have an international winner. We just invested money recently in Kenya. You have all these things happening. How does it feel to be a part of it?
Well, I think it's exciting, and it kind of puts you in a lot of pressure also, because you have to always be ahead to perform and ensure that everything that you have learned also, you put it into practice. Yes.
For me, what I will say, apart from the excitement, is it's really has been a challenge for us in terms of, especially as a country, looking at the background of how the Biblical Entrepreneurship Program was started. Because when I look at our discussions, Frank is the one who engaged us to actually tell us about this new program. He's been a good friend of mine for quite a long time. So when he told me about it, and then after that started the classes, so we joined him. So for us to see how it has progressed to a point that we can actually be able to get winners coming from this particular new program that has been launched in our country, it's quite exciting, and something even compels us actually to look forward to what is in the future, because we have seen what is possible, and our desire, according to the program, is actually to see a change in our nation. So to see already this happening, and already seeing a good number of us, a good team being able to come out forward and being able even to take international awards, tells us we are on track, and you're believing God. What has been started, we'll see it actually come to fruition in our life.
Amen. So you knew Frank before the e-community of biblical entrepreneurship?
Yes, we did.
So you were part of the first class, the original class of this program?
Yes, we were.
So have you been surprised by its success in such a short time?
Knowing Frank, not really.
He's a go-getter, clearly. So whatever he sets his mind to do, he cannot stop. So this is Frank for you.
So he's quite passionate about anything he gets involved in. So for us to see this happen, for us, it's not really a surprise. But also, I will still say it's not a surprise, but getting the international ones, because remember him telling us he went through the program online. I think when he started.
Yeah.
When he went through the program online, I think after that is when he actually, not really a surprise. He pointed out to us that it was a bit of a challenge, especially doing it online at a particular point, because it was very new locally. But after that, when he managed to succeed and even actually come to the US and get, I think it was first runners up.
He got second place. Yeah, he got second place.
So already, that's what I'm saying. The passion he has when he gets engaged and involved in something, to us, it was actually, because he was actually setting the bar and saying, the people who are behind him had to do better. So
Wow.
for us, actually, we enjoyed it when we actually were surprised, let me say, at that particular point, when he was able to take through a group, and out of it, we not only got a leading team in Africa, but in the world. So for us, and especially again, looking at the season, it was a very difficult season, I would say, at that particular point in time, because there was also a lot of transition taking place for him, especially as a company, and also for nations all over the world. So for us, the surprise was there, but again, we still say the guy, he's good at what he does.
Wow. So you've kind of have watched this journey. So you've even been with him as you've seen him go through the challenges of this whole process. Wow.
Yeah.
Normally, it's tough for your own friends to buy in and actually pay as early beginners, but you guys did. Oftentimes your friends ask for deals and discounts and so forth. So, and this was new. What made you guys actually invest money into this?
Be honest.
I think also the space where we were in. I would say, looking back, she had just left employment. So there was a discussion of what she's passionate about and what she's been doing as a hobby. So the discussion was, how do we monetize what she has been doing at home? Then here comes Frank, and we had tried a lot of business ventures with him, I would say. So he comes and he tells us, but there is something I found that would work very well for you, especially now in the new space where Joyce actually was heading to. So he asked us, he gave a very good pitch, I would say, in terms of telling us exactly how it works. And I think what caught also my attention was that aspect of that it was really tackling the challenges we're having in our nation, in terms of, especially in the business space. We find it's very difficult to do an honest business in Kenya, the way it is, especially looking at the environment. So here he was actually selling a product and telling us, we will be able to, the only way we can change our nation is using this model. So he was more or less giving us the tools that we can work with to see this happen. So honestly, I got into it primarily because of her.
Wow.
In the sense that because I'm still employed. So it was a discussion of what better way to launch into a new space, but also having the tools that can enable you to succeed in the same space. So that's what drove us into it.
Wow, I love it. We're talking to a dynamic couple, Paul and Joyce Kiiru, and we're talking about their experience through Biblical Entrepreneurship and the Business Success Accelerator Group Coaching Program as they've launched their company, Love It Juice. Judy says, here to learn, wonderful role models doing kingdom business right. Amen. You know who Judy is?
She's my small sister.
Oh, wow. So she's a
really
fan.
small, but
Good having you. Thanks for watching.
yeah.
So let's talk about Love It Juice. So tell us, what is Love It Juice exactly?
Okay. Love It Juices is a company that we prepare fresh juices, and it's basically a home solution first and foremost, because on its origin, we realized that I personally realized from a home setting that there was nothing available that was fresh and healthy for you to give to your family. And the way we look at it, in an aspect where normally the current, let me just use the word Kenyan, we will find both the lady and the man, they are working. So because of busy schedules, you do not have time to actually prepare something that is nutritious for your family. So for me, it started first as it was really, really a hobby at first.
Wow.
because I was trying to look for a solution for my husband then. I wanted to give him a fresh drink, something that I can enjoy and we can enjoy together. And looking in the market around then, there was nothing. So I was busy researching what it is that I can prepare for my family. The other thing is, if you find, for us, we were not so much of fruit eaters. So you realize that we take a lot of fruits in drinks. So that was also a solution that we were looking for. How can we ensure we take fruits almost on a daily basis, the way we are supposed to? So the only option then that was available is coming up with fresh juices, which I started making as a hobby in the house.
Wow. You know what? Many
Mm.
entrepreneurs, it's not very uncommon for entrepreneurs to launch their business out of a hobby. As a matter of fact, in my new book, Biblical Entrepreneurship Essentials, I talk about going from a business hobby to actually a legitimate business. That's what you did. So you went from a hobby to actually transform into business. At which point did you realize that this could be a business for you?
Well, the journey is quite interesting because as a hobby, most people would actually just visit. And when you have visitors, you want to give them something that is wow. So I used to mostly prepare the juice. I want to try out a different recipe, so I want to give people juice. So with time, you find friends, people visiting, they'd always come and say, that thing you prepared for me, I'd like to have it. So with time, they would place orders. While I was still working then, to me, as you're saying, it was still a hobby. I would still like wow them, still make for them and get something small out of it. But the origin of the business would say how it all started officially is like last year, 2018 mid, when I was still employed, where you find that there was a lot of changes in my workplace and uncertainties. There was a lot of retrenchment, a lot of things were happening that started making me feel a bit uncomfortable. So with time, I started thinking, what of these things that I've been giving people as a hobby? Can I monetize it, make it a business? So while I was still in employment, June 2018 is when I started thinking about it so much. And out of, I think, the abundance of the heart, I thought about it so much, I even came up with a name. And that's how Love It Juices was born then. But officially as a business, it started last year, January.
Wow. Peter Maina says, wonderful. Thank you, Peter, for watching. So this is incredible. So all this while, Paul, you're seeing your wife do this hobby, and whose idea was it first to say this could be a business? Was it Paul yours, or was it yours, Joyce?
It was mine. I was very passionate about it.
Very passionate. So when you
yes.
told Paul, what was his first impression?
His first question was, is it going to make money? So I had to do some maths to prove to him that this thing can work. Yeah? So yeah, I had to convince him at some point, like, if I leave employment, this is what we are looking at.
Wow.
And my maths were not so bad, yeah.
So Paul, you were very pragmatic. You recognized that she was passionate about it, but it needed to make money.
Yes, because she was employed. So the question was, once you leave employment, then what? Because I knew there will still be a need of financing. So that particular point, that's when we actually had to discuss and ask ourselves, if she leaves, what is the possibility? What is the potential in there? Yes, she did the math. However, I was not as driven at that particular point because yes, because truth is, I know it's tough to start a business. I have seen people, and as I was telling you, Frank and I have tried a few. So we've actually seen the challenges of actually starting a business. So it's one thing just to do, to plan on paper and say, this is what you're thinking, this is what you're projecting. I've come to realize there is a passion and the art part of it, but the science bit is what gets lost. We don't get the accurate ability to, at that particular point, to accurately determine what you're likely to do. So she will paint a picture of very high potential. But the concern was when the rubber meets the road, what actually is going to happen? So that was the discussion then. But I would say the employment bit, since it was proving to be very uncomfortable, we had to make do with that and accept. This is what she felt passionate about. So at that particular point is when now we decided to focus on it.
So you're the pragmatic of the relationship.
Yes.
I love it. Nice balance. So you got a number of friends here watching. So Peter says fresh juice makes a lot of money in Kenya. And Zeph said, those are my classmates. As you guys know, Zeph is one of the certified trainers in Kenya. He said our class was a recipient of great juices. So you used to offer your classmates some juices.
Yes.
And then, Judy says encouraging. And Peter says he also does juicing in Nairobi as well. Magical fresh juices, he calls it. So you have a competitor watching you right now today, so they're gonna take some tips from you. So what were you doing at that point, Joyce? Where were you working? What were you doing for employment?
Well, I was working in a big company. Sorry, I was working in the corporate business, which is one of the leading fast-moving consumer goods in Kenya or countrywide. Actually, is it country or globally? That was Unilever, and I'd worked for 12 years, majorly in the supply chain and customer service. Yes.
And you began to feel that it was time to move on. And so was it that your passion for juicing was getting stronger and stronger, or was it also that you were kind of dissatisfied with the 9 to 5 or the company? Which one was driving you most?
The dissatisfaction in the company was higher. However, I would say the same year, 2018, is when it was so restless for me. So that you find that a job I used to enjoy doing so much in employment was no longer a passion. Wow. And I remember one night, I was just telling my husband, I know when I wrestled about it so much, there's this scripture that came to me, Isaiah 43:19. And it says, behold, I have set for you an open door. Now it springs forth. Will you not perceive it? And I kept on thinking, which is this door? What is the Lord talking about? And around that time is when now Love It Juices was so clear in my mind. This is what I need to step out and do.
Wow. Now, I didn't ask you as his pride, but it would be nice. Is there a Love It juice somewhere near you that you can just pick up so people can see? There she's always ready. There it is.
My branded bottle.
I love it. Bring it closer to the camera. So that's the branded bottle right there. I love it. So, look at that. That is nice. So when customers buy the bottle, do they get free juices for life with that bottle, or how does that work?
The bottle is actually a recent innovation. So we realize most people like bottles. So I've been selling the bottle. You when you buy this bottle, you get 1 liter free of juice. So in essence, I'm still selling my product, so that every day when you have this bottle in your house, you're reminded of Love It Juices. When you have not placed your order, you need to place another order. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
So when I come to Kenya, I want to buy my bottle so I can bring it back to the U.S. with me.
You're welcome.
And it's a great juice. So we're gonna talk about its uniqueness in a minute. But you both work as a couple. And my wife and I work with couples in business. We know it's not easy. So what's been the greatest challenge and the greatest opportunity you both working as a couple in business?
Okay, I would say one of the greatest challenges I realized is first embracing a vision in terms of this something that is presented. She's painted a picture. This is what can work. So to embrace it without, especially for me, as you have said, I will do the math, and it doesn't seem really to be adding up. I might easily just brush it off. So one of the challenges is embracing and accepting that there is a possibility of actually going into this and it working. However, beyond that is being able to understand my space. I would say this came along as we're also doing the BSA, understanding what I can be able to do to help her in actualizing this. So when I came in, we realized we have different strengths. So I being able to identify mine and what I can do, I could see how it can complement her. So the challenge first was not knowing what I have and how it can benefit her. So it's easy probably just sitting and saying, this is your thing, so this is what you need to do. And you wait for results, not lifting a finger to pitch in or assist. So understanding that I'm able to give a hand, I'm able to bring on the table my knowledge, my understanding, probably the exposure that I have, and how it can help in the business. So the ability to define what our roles is one of the areas I found to be challenging in the beginning, because we realize it's very easy to clash, because this is what I'm expecting, but on the other hand, there's what she's expecting, which we're not able to communicate effectively because we didn't have that clarity on how to run the business at that particular point in time. So the clash at that particular point is what I found to be really frustrating for us, because I expect results, but we didn't have the formula. We didn't have the how to actually make it work.
Wow.
So for us, that was the most difficult thing.
Oh, that is good. And Joyce, the greatest challenge, what has been?
I think at first there was a lot of weight on my shoulder because I was basically doing everything: the sourcing of fruits, the production, the marketing, the sales, the finances, and it was a bit overwhelming. But I remember by the time we were doing BE and completing, it was clear what we are after. And at that point, there was, I would say, like we had a lot of synergy at that point, because we'd already seen the bigger picture of the business, and we started discussing then what needs to be my role, what needs to be your role. So I would say when I compare when we started and now, there's a big difference. And I can attribute that to the training that we have received.
Wow. And you feel like your husband is more of a partner with you now?
Very much. He plays a big role.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
And by the way, if people want to get also Ruth, here's what Ruth says. Ruth is a fan of yours. Ruth says, Ruth says, Joyce and Paul are an inspiration. Kudos. Love it. Juices and the wonderful venture it is. They look good and fresh and healthy juices indeed. Awesome. Ruth is from Kenya. She's a part of Frank's camp. So let's talk a bit about the pluses. So what's been the greatest benefit of you guys working together as a couple?
Number one for me is numbers. Anyway, he's very strict on systems, rules, and numbers, which I was not so keen on. So I would say that is something that has been added on to the table, to the detail. He doesn't miss a point. Probably for me, I would buy something and just forget to put it in the equation. But for him, he captures everything. And I think what of late I've been able to see is where we are doing reviews on a weekly basis. He's able to show me this is where we are at. We have discussed about our targets for the week, for the day. And when we have a meeting, we are discussing what could have happened. Have you done what was supposed to? He's given me tough targets. And when I have not met my side of it, like I've not called customers, I've not posted some updates, I know I am guilty at the end of the day. So, but he's helped to put me on check just to know this is what we agreed and this is what needs to happen. Yeah.
Wow, that is good. What about you? What's been the greatest plus for you?
Okay, I think apart from that, communication is big for me. Because I think apart from just the way we operate as a couple, but having the ability now to discuss much more regarding what is also passionate at that particular point in time, it has helped us to be able to even face challenges together. Because I would say, business aside, when she was in employment, I'm in employment, we'll have our own challenges. So we'll internalize and probably just deal with them, maybe share just a little bit of it. But at this particular point in time, we find we have to communicate more because there is more that actually is drawing us together regarding what we are encountering on a day-to-day basis. So for me, the ability to communicate at even a greater level than what you were doing previously has been key. Apart from that is now the ability now to understand our synergy and the benefit it brings to us and also to the business has been really key.
So the business has forced you guys to work together even more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you raise a good point, because we each having your own employment, jobs actually divides you guys, while business brings you guys together. You know, that's the way the Lord intended, right? For husband and wife to work together. Now, but for many couples, though, you guys have clear differences, and it's clear that opposite attracts and opposite complements. But for some couples, this is a point of tension. How have you guys been able to avoid tension? I mean, you know, Joyce, him holding you on the numbers, and Paul, maybe her not being as strict as she needs to be. How have you guys avoid fighting over it? Because sometimes couples fight over that versus embrace it the way you have.
I think I'll look at it from the onset of the business, where having realized that I am just but a steward of what God has given me. This is his business. And if at the end of the day, the results I have, the accomplishments I have, it all belongs to him. So he comes on board and we discuss on whose business this is. So we will, like, you have a focus and a common goal on what you're working towards, because we want to build a business together. You may have low moments for me, the low moments in the business have been like we have not really hit my targets, and I'm so discouraged about it. But when we get to discuss and talk about it, and there's something that we learned on the keys in the BSA class, where we look at, is it the relationships that we are having in business, the people we are relating with, where you commit to God on a daily basis for your business, your customers, the vendors, the suppliers, whoever you're dealing with, that as you command your day and your business for that day, God is able to give you, because at the end of the day, it's his business. He has just given me as a steward to work here. So when I commit to him and we agree together, and I think I realized of late what we have constantly done is like pray for the business together. Whatever we want to see happen, we declare together, and I have seen results. The Lord has granted us our heart's desires. Yeah.
I love it. What about you?
Okay, for me, what when I analyze it, I think one of the things I've noted at times is it also starts from your relationship, first with God and then with one another. So one key ingredient is we have been friends. We were friends even before we got married, and we have been friends up to this moment. So one of the things we always agreed on, one key area in our lives we emphasized on was communicating and being able to lay our cards on the table. So whatever it is that we need to address, we just need to be open about it, discuss it, then come up with a way forward or with a solution if it's a challenge. So that ability to work together. And that's what I'm saying from the onset when you got married. It was very clear. Because just like you were saying, building a home, you can't do it on your own as an individual. We need to work together as a team. So even in the business front, if we do not handle our communication effectively, if we also don't fight fairly, so yes, she didn't meet her numbers, then what? Because it's easy to put her down, but that doesn't deliver the results. So it's to go back to the drawing board and ask ourselves, what can we do to make this a reality? So that ability to consistently trusting God to help you, the Holy Spirit in you just leading you. At times, there are times I've felt I need to react, but I remember at the end of the day, she's doing what she felt was right or she thinks was right at a particular point in time. So the easier way is to acknowledge, okay, we didn't hit it, we didn't achieve what we wanted. Then how do you go about it? So instead of attacking her, it's easier to just indulge her, to try to understand, probably to have a communicate, to have a talk. So we have realized it's hard work. I agree. You have to really commit and be consistent at it. You need the Holy Spirit to help you to tone down, even when you feel you are not able, to actually to enable you to reach out and see what can be done. So I think communication and the Spirit of God, good combination.
Wow. I love it. That's good advice. I'm going to send this to a few of my couples because they need to hear this. You guys have really mastered this. You guys are going to be a power couple. Let's talk about your experience. And before we go to that, so if somebody's listening or watching and they want to order some Love It juice, where do they go? How do they access it?
They go to our Facebook page, which is Love It Juices. They will find that they can either use a messenger or there's a WhatsApp link where they can be able to use that to side chat us directly, and we'll be able to get back to them.
Awesome. So that link is right there on the podcast, guys. If you guys are watching, you want to order some Love It juice, just go ahead and make your orders and take advantage of that juice. One of the greatest fresh juices I've had personally, and they have different flavors. You have different flavors. Tell us about the different flavors.
Wow, there are many. We have orange, passion, mango, cocktail, carrot, tamarind. Which one am I forgetting? Pineapple mint. And we also custom make. Whatever you want us to make for you, just let us know. We will do it for you. Yeah.
By the way, fresh is not only great for your health, but it also has some additional advantages of various medicinic advantages. So juicing is powerful. Judy says, amen, God first, relationship with one another, reverse engineering, awesome. So let's talk about your experience with biblical entrepreneurship. I know that Frank he made the pitch and you guys took advantage. How was that experience for you guys? How did BE help you guys in this journey?
Personally, when we were beginning, for me, it was key. I didn't take a lot of convincing like Paul here, because just as he said, I'd left employment and I was looking for some form of mentorship. How can I do business? And for me, business, which is kingdom-based, was key to me because I'm a believer. I'd like to do things right. And I was thinking then, I just don't want to bump into anyone who will just teach me the tricks here and there and not guide me through the steps of A to Z. So for me, when the proposal came on the business, it was key because I was like, at least I'll get someone to teach me on how business is done. And then I was hoping as they teach me, they will work with me. I will learn through the journey as I understand wherever there are pitfalls, they are able to correct me, work with me. So for me, it was just a solution that I was looking for as I engage on a different way of life there. Yeah.
Wow. What about you?
For me, as I've said, Frank did a pitch. So my wife needed that learning. At that particular point in time, I wasn't really focusing on myself. I felt she needed it more than I did. But when I got into the class, I would say it was quite transformational. Especially because I remember when it started, some of the things that came out, sorry, really strong for me at that particular point in time was especially what you said, understanding the business that you just a steward. So that hit me hard because most of the time I think we are used to operating what I have is mine. I just trust God on how to go about it. But I do not get to understand that God is the owner and I'm just stewarding. I'm just a steward of what He has entrusted to me. So that's one of the main key elements I got out of it. And I think the other one, which also hit home, was also that bit of working out a satisfaction matrix, where I remember Frank actually asked us, what would you say making it? What would be comfortable for you? Then can you put it down? So if God takes you to that point, then it means you're able to channel everything else into whatever other area He may be interested in. And I realize that's one of the traps we normally find that comes in business, because when your business starts performing, mostly what you find is you keep on upgrading your life, not looking at the kingdom impact or what else God would want you to do with what He has entrusted to you. So again, it puts you back to that space where you realize you're still a steward. So whatever He has entrusted to you is primarily not for you. He is using you to accomplish His purposes. So you being a vessel in His hands is to work with what He gives you. So let me get what I need for my life for now, but anything extra, I should be in a position to comfortably release it, acknowledging that I'm just stewarding what He has given to me. So those are some of the two key areas I felt are compelling enough for me actually to say we need to do this even more.
Wow, that is incredible. And what Paul is talking about there is the lesson on kingdom philanthropy. That really God is going to use you, my friend. By the way, Paul, what do you do at work? Where do you work and what do you do?
I work for the government, the county government of Nairobi. So my main line of work, I work on the system side. So just looking at business solutions and probably business engineering. So that's my area of operation. So that's why I'm very keen on operations, exactly what is happening, and systems part.
Yeah. Has it been tough for you balancing between your full-time job and partnering with your wife on this business?
It has been, because you realize after you leave your work, you get into another job. Because you have to ensure things are also working in our space. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but by the grace of God, again, because we work Monday to Friday, we have a weekend. So you're able to put in at times extra during the weekend. But we are still trusting God that at some point I'll be able also to exit. So I think that's the encouraging bit of it.
So you retired her. Next, she's going to retire you. Is that how it works?
Yes.
I love it. Do you guys have any kids? Any children?
Not at the moment.
Good time to do it too. Great time to do it. Here's what Kenji, you guys know Kenji. He said, Paul and Joyce make running a business as a couple look easy. Admire their resilience and commitment to the process. And that is true. You guys do make it good. Now, after Biblical Entrepreneurship, you guys then decided to take the Business Success Accelerator, BSA. As a matter of fact, you guys were the first couples to enroll in the group coaching program. First, what made you get into the BSA program, and how has that experience been for you? You've been at it for a year now.
Yeah.
For me, number one was because BE worked. I was sure now there's someone for real who is going to hold my hand. I can vent all my issues and my questions, and they are able to just correct me. And as this scripture says that as iron sharpens iron, I was sure there's someone who's been in this business before. It may not be the love it or the same line of operation, but they've been in business before. They've faced the challenges they faced before. They are able to tell me, now this is the way, walk here in it. Do not walk this way. These are the pitfalls you're able to face in the process. And also on how to just make sure that every step of the way we are aligned. We are, someone who keeps you on check, and you do not just think, I am free now, I can do my business the way I want. And I used to say that if in my workplace I had targets that I could meet and work so hard to, so if in my business I'm not able to have such, and this in essence is like I'm not really reporting to a coach, but they are able to talk to me, to walk with me, to caution me, and they keep you steady, steady, steady on what you're doing. So for me, this was something that I must do because I had already seen the benefit of the BE. Yeah.
So, Paul, you have to look at numbers again, and if so, how has the experience been for you?
Actually, BSA helped me get even more clarity because I thought I could be able to focus on numbers, but when BSA came along, the ability of coaches to focus on the smallest detail that affect the business, which at times I would overlook because of lack of experience, was quite what actually enabled us to get where we are. So one of the things that was strong for us or came out really strong for us is the ability to focus on the details and especially on the numbers. But I think what I can also point out, every monthly reporting, the group reporting on the 3 key areas, that really got us going because it helped us to stay focused, to stay on course, because the ability to always keep on checking. These are the key areas which you need to focus on. These are the keys, especially what she said when she started, the ability to focus on relationships, because we noted in normal entrepreneurial journey, I think those who do not follow the biblical principles focus mostly on the growth part. So it's whatever will enable me to get these numbers, it's the end justifies the means. But here, you actually demand build relationships, and then go to values, and finally you see the growth that you desire. So these for us were the key things that kept us moving, kept pushing us. Remember, there are times we would actually keep on asking ourselves, which area are we really growing? Because we knew come end of the month, the coaches will be asking the same question. So we had to keep on focusing and analyzing what are the areas that we actually need to grow or are growing in to help us keep on moving. So for me, the BSA, I will say there is so much we learned. Even when talk about targets, talk about strategy, there's so many things that we learned in that class. And I cannot fail to point out, including the team, what we discovered, one of the great successes of the BSA coaching group session was a team aspect in terms of being able to listen to other students also going through the same. Because we realized we were in different businesses. But at times you'll find someone like Kenji, who you are with, will paint a picture and bring up an issue, something you'd never thought about. And you will learn something from it, which in essence will help us when our business gets probably to that particular point or we encounter a similar challenge on how to grow. Someone like Fred, the challenge in terms of the ability to pivot and the discussions around that, the 2 different types of businesses. So the benefit of a group is you get people raising issues or raising concerns that you may find, like I remember in a class, you would ask, what is a hot topic? At times we will not really get a particular point, but Kenji will raise something and you will agree with it because you realize you have not looked at that particular issue the way he has been able to bring it out. So I would say there are a lot of also benefits in the group aspect of it, apart from the ability and the keenness of the coaches to help us walk that particular journey in terms of being able to focus on every area which you needed to.
Wow, that is incredible. What Paul was talking about there is our coaching program, the Business Success Accelerator, is based on 3 keys: helping you grow your relationships, helping you values, helping you incorporate your values into your business, integrate it, and then growth, helping you increase your top and bottom line. And those are the things he was bringing up. If, by the way, if you want to be a part of the BSA Business Success Accelerator or for the Biblical Entrepreneurship Program, you can go to our website, nehemiahecommunity.com. There you can go to find a class or go to coaching so you can get involved and find out more about each of those programs, either in Kenya or other parts of the world. So for you both, what's the difference between coaching and training? So if you now that you've done both, what do you think the difference between those two were for you?
I pick out the strongest part as the personalized attention first and foremost, that I'm able to have some time with a coach and go through my process of the business, leave alone the classes that we have with fellow classmates. But I think the coach aspect it's not limited, because I'm able to have my time with a coach. I'm able to have my questions answered, and they're able to take me through the journey of this is what we expect of you. And you see, for each coach, it's different. I would say even the time we start with Frank and you, it's different. And there are things that we've learned and put into practice. When we have questions, we are able to access you and ask the questions that we have. And I would say it's something that I would encourage every business person to go through, because you're able to have a more focused direction in your business. There's accountability. You're not alone. In short, there's no fear of, will I make it? Will I do this? But you're able to work with someone who's been there before, and they are able to lead you through the way. Yeah.
What about you, Paul?
Okay, for me, I would also look at training. Looking at going through the BE class training, it felt a little bit general in nature. So it gives you probably this is how you do things. However, when it comes to coaching, it becomes personal, because at the point of coaching, I'm dealing with someone who will listen to what I'm going through as a business. They will analyze it and look for solutions with me. So you find coaching it's like someone takes you by the hand and actually shows you, don't try this, do this, avoid this. You're getting into this, please stop, get out of this. So you have a more like that aspect of the journey. You're not working alone. You have someone who's working with you every step of the way. So it means if I have a decision that I need to make for the business, the coach will be there for me in terms of I can consult and get sound advice that will help me be able to make a better decision. And that's what she was talking about, as you're saying, the iron sharpening iron aspect, because we're saying the coach being there has seen it, has probably walked through that path before. So at that particular point, they have more clarity on what you are dealing in or what you're engaging in, to be able to advise you accordingly to protect you and the business. So in fact, one of the things I remember learning was the coach is more concerned about the business as opposed to the person. Yeah. Yes, the person is important, but the business is more critical, because they are there to coach you develop the business where it should actually be. So for me, coaching, you can't be able, the two are very distinct. You can't do away with a coach, especially if you're in business or in whatever space of life you're in. A coach is very critical because they will help you make right decisions. But in a class, it's easy to go listen in a class and walk out, but not be able to implement what probably has been taught. But in coaching, you implement what we learn, because in every class, there is always a follow-up. How did you go about this? How is it working for you? What are the challenges? Can we address them? So I think coaching is more result-based. We're able to see the outcome of the coaching.
Wow, I love it. What a commendation. And so, again, if you want to be a part of the coaching program, BSA in Kenya or anywhere around the world, just go to nehemiahecommunity.com, nehemiahecommunity.com. Kenji, here's what Kenji said. Well said, Paul. Hot topics were like aspirin for your business, quick solution to numb the pain.
True.
So let's talk about the uniqueness. By the way, so far you guys have done all the programs. You've done Biblical Entrepreneurship. You've done BSA. God willing, sometime next year we'll look at financing for you guys. Right? I'm really excited about that and providing capital to go to the next level. Really looking forward to that. So let's talk about Love It Juice. Its uniqueness in the marketplace. So you started this out of passion. Your friends loved it, and obviously you've been able to, to be in business doing this since you left your job. So something is working. But what do you think this is working? What set Love It apart? If somebody's watching and listening, they say, "Why should I buy Love It juice than some other juice that's in Kenya?" What would you say? What's your uniqueness?
I would say number one is the quality of the juice. This is based on having tested others and gotten feedback from customers, and the price is also friendly. The other thing that I would say is we normally have a lot of custom made juice, so that if what you want is not in our list, then you're able to tell us, can I have this and this mixed together? Can I have this? Like you can say, I want mango and passion. I want it sweetened. I don't want it sweetened. So there are many options that are available for you when you come to Love It Juices. Yeah.
Paul, you want to add in?
I think on the custom part, we have encountered customers who would also come with health issues. So someone will actually point out, this is what I have. I need this kind of a product. So are you able to give me that kind of a product? So the ability for us to be able to listen to each individual customer and be able to give them what they need at that particular point in time is critical. The other thing also is in the sizing, in the packaging, because we find at times like parents they will desire to have the children getting something to go to school with, probably they are still really small. So at that particular point, you need a product that they can consume. They don't want a 1 liter bottle just to give to their child. They want something in a small pack that is easier for the child to consume and not waste. So again, the sizing is also very critical. We have realized most of the businesses out, they don't give that level of detail in terms of being able to give you that. So that, and then the other bit is what we have discovered is looking at our market, the one actually we are currently focusing on, the target market again. We have the ability of delivering the juice at the shortest time possible. So because they're in our environment. So when you make an order, it will take us a very short time for us to be able to deliver the product. So again, that distinguishes us.
Wow. Love it. So let's talk 10 years from now. We're about to wrap up here. By the way, if you want to order Love It Juice, go to their Facebook, Love It Juices in Facebook. There you can find out how to get in touch with them to order the juices. So 10 years from now, what will Love It Juice looks like? Give me a sense of the job creation, impact, growth. What does Love It Juice looks like 10 years from now?
Okay, when we look at it, what we are realizing is even through the process of growth, we have also realized some of the gaps in the market. And one key area in terms of gaps is we have noted the farmer, the relationship between the farmer and the end consumer. The product, one of the challenging in this market is the pricing model, because the challenge comes that we have a farmer, but the farmer's product has to go through a middle person before it gets to the end consumer. So the middle person ends up really pushing the cost way up. So one of the discussions and one of the things we are looking at is also addressing the farmer, because in the process also the farmer gets to sell their product at a very low cost, and the end consumer gets to buy it also on the other hand at a very high cost. So the price margin, that markup which is being consumed in the middle, we want to bridge that gap. So one of the things we are looking at is being able to reach the farmer so that we can give the farmer competitive price for their product, so they get value for their product. So we are looking at growing a farmer base, so we get a lot of farmers coming on board, working with us. But beyond that, we're also looking at being able to employ more people, because currently we have some casuals who come in on a day-to-day basis to help us. So we're looking at also the ability to be able to employ more people to get on board regarding this. And also, we're also looking futuristically also, as you're pointing out, having a plant at least to be able to help us be able to produce in volume. So we're looking at being able to build a plant that is able to process juices faster, so that we can also be able to address the market out there. So then apart from that, definitely is being able now, with that ability also, it gives us now the muscle or the ability to give back into the kingdom. So apart from what you're able to give right now, we find in terms of giving, there's what we believe the business should be able to do, especially transform the community. There are a lot of areas of need in our community, and that's one of the things we're looking at. So one core area definitely is employment, is big, and then poverty eradication has been a core area where we need to empower people in our community.
Wow, that is such an articulate 10-year vision. You want anything to add there, Joyce?
I think he said everything. Above all, I want it to be said that there was a company that made a difference, and that is Love It Juices. Yeah. In the homes, especially.
I love it. So, Joyce, you think within that 10 years, your husband will be home with you? Time?
Definitely, yes.
You heard it here first. So we'll have you guys 10 years from now. We'll have you guys back on the podcast to talk about that transition. Well, guys, wow, thank you so much. I have one last question for you guys. Congratulations. We are so proud of you. We're looking forward to, God willing, coming alongside you financially to help you go to the next level. You guys were great in the coaching program. Looking forward to getting you guys your certificate. And you guys are truly a model couple in really, as you walking this out. Know that, no pressure, but you guys today was just exemplifies such a model, an example of how to work together as a couple. So we may have to have you come back just to talk from a couple's perspective, because we have a lot of couples that deal with the dynamic. So last question again, if you want to know more about Love It Juice, and go to the Facebook and you go to Love It Juice on Facebook, you'll find Paul and Joyce. If you want to know about the Biblical Entrepreneurship or the BSA Group Coaching Program in Kenya, reach out to Nehemiah Project Kenya, or just go to the Nehemiah eCommunity website. From there, you can connect with them. So two questions for you guys. The first one is, are you guys, what's your greatest challenge as you guys see yourself going forward? What's the greatest challenge you must overcome to achieve that 10-year goal for you and your wife, Love It Juice?
I think over time it's been, fear. And that is basically fear of failure. Like you think, if I step out in a bigger way, will I make it? So there's fear of what if I don't make it, what will happen? But I think this has been corrected over the past few months with the coaches that we've had, and also my husband here. And constantly just reminding me, you've always been quoting this scripture. If the Lord told you it's his work, he's not going to let you down. So there's a constant reminder of it started all in the kingdom of God. And if he's able to make this business grow, who am I to put a limit to that. So working on that.
Wow. Paul, what about you?
She's just pointed out, fear actually was one of the main concerns I had before, and rightfully, the reason why fear is because especially not taking it as a faith work. In terms of we'll sit down with you, we'll sit down with Frank, and then you'll tell us, do projections. And then the next question comes, how am I getting this done? How am I getting these people to come on board and buy the product? Because at the end of the day, without being able to push out the brand, without being able to market the product, it means getting to onboard customers is not easy. But again, as we've been working, I've realized especially one of the areas is the value proposition. Because one of the things we've discovered over time is, I think you always pointed out, is it a cost? Is it a value issue? Because those are some of the main challenges I've had for quite a while. Till now, it reached that point where I have to acknowledge and accept. If we are stewards, then at the end of the day, we have to trust the Lord regarding this. We have to trust God where we are heading. As long as we do our part, we do our bit, we do the projections, we do the planning, we need to trust the Lord to give us the ability to achieve what we have set out. So what we've been doing with her on a daily basis is that discussion. On a weekly basis. We have a day in the week where we'll sit down and ask ourselves, where are we? Why aren't we able to get here? How do we get here? So praying about it to enable us to get there. So that is helping us address the fear element that has been an issue for us, because that was one issue. Then the other one was also not only the fear of failure, but also the fear of success, where the question of, can you handle this? This is a scope. This is a potential of the business. Can you be able to handle this kind of scope? So those are some of the things that we have been addressing that have been a challenge to us when we think in terms of the growth of the business.
Wow, this is good stuff. I have one last question for you before I ask. We've come to the end of our program. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stick around. We got a few more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. But if you want to know more about Paul and Joyce and Love It Juices, go to Facebook and search for Love It Juices. You want to know more about the Nehemiah Project Kenya program, the e-community Nairobi, go to the Nehemiah e-community website, or you can reach out to Frank directly to know more information about that. If you enjoyed this podcast and you want to share it, I want to invite you to share it on your Facebook, share it on your socials, send it to others, to couples who may want to be encouraged to walk as Paul and Joyce have walked. Those who are starting a business, some you may have a passion like Joyce, and she may figure out, how do I turn it into a business? Or a husband who may be seeing, how do I come alongside my wife? Or wife, how do I come alongside my husband? So share it far and wide. Don't just receive it for yourself. Share with others that they too may be encouraged to walk out their own journey. Well, Paul and Joyce, we've come to our end. I do want you guys to first thank you so much for being here with us. You guys were amazing. We're going to have you guys come back. But there are many people watching from all over the world. And like they're probably married, some of them, and they need to be encouraged today. They're looking at what you guys have. They say, wow, we want what they got. So what encouragement would you give our audience today as to whether they're struggling in their marriages, whether they're believing God for what you guys have, or whether they just have ideas, they're believing God to, like you guys, go ahead and take the courage to make it happen? What word of encouragement or advice would you give them? Let's start with you, Joyce. What would you say to them?
I would say business-wise, I can't remember the scripture, but I think there's a scripture that talks that it is I, the Lord, that teaches you how to make profit. So if it is in business and you want to learn on principles that work, you've got to partner with the Lord. Yeah. So even as you do it as a couple, you have to involve God in it, because that's the only way you're going to make it. And I know when it's starting, it may look like it's so bleak you cannot understand, but the constant reminder of God is in this. You have to seek Him daily. I know that will make you work. And the other thing is just working together as a couple, as in communicate, have a common goal, and trust God in this. For me, God is key. He's at the center of it all. He's been at the center of the marriage, and He's brought us this far. He's walked with us, and I know He can never, never fail us. So for me, God is key. He's at the center of it all. Yeah.
Wow. Paul, let's see if you can touch that. That was good stuff.
So for me, just to pick up where what you're talking about, also communication is key. Being able to communicate with one another, but beyond that, the Lord has to be in charge. That you have to let the Lord lead and guide, because as we said, we are stewards in whatever sphere of life, not only in business, even in a marriage situation. I'm still a steward. The Lord holds me accountable for her well-being. So if I'm able to remember that in everything that I do, that I am a steward, and nothing that I do that the Lord will not hold me accountable for, that it becomes easier also to involve the Lord in it. Because if we have a challenge in business or in marriage, at the end of the day, I will say the Lord is her God. So if I have a challenge with her, it's easier for me to trust the Lord to help me understand how do I deal with this? How do I work with her? How do I reach out to her? So you have to engage and allow the Lord to lead you and guide you in whatever you're doing, understanding your position before the Lord as a steward, that the Lord will still enable you by His Spirit. That's the beauty of all this, that we have His Spirit at work in us. So we are not working by our own ability, it's not by our own power, but it's not by our might, but it's by His Spirit. So allowing His Spirit also to minister unto us, to lead us in the decisions we are making, in whatever, even in our discussions, it makes life the more easier because we do not depend on our own strength. Living with, as we said, opposites, it's never easy, but with the Lord as part of that communion, it makes life very easy. So trust in the Lord in whatever you're doing, and He will make all you, whatever you entrust to Him, He will make it work for you.
What a power couple. Good advice. Kenji says, great discussion. Well, guys, thank you so much. Again, if you want to know more about Love It Juice, go to Facebook, Love It Juices. Facebook, Love It Juices. Connect with Paul and Joyce and wish them the best, and then help them to serve you through their juices. Guys, I wish you all the best. And looking forward to having you guys back, because you've got something great happening, and God willing, we'll come alongside you guys financially in the future to help you go to the next level. How does that sound?
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. My friends, before you leave, don't you leave yet, because if you want to know more about the Nehemiah Project and how we can come alongside you, as we've done with Paul and Joyce, and walk with you through our training program, where you can take advantage of biblical entrepreneurship, identity, and destiny, all the various courses that we have for entrepreneurs just like you, or our coaching program, whether it's executive business coaching or business success accelerator, BSA, or elite coaching. Go to our coaching, and then we'll be able to help you there. Or if you want to take advantage of our business services, where we can help you with technology and graphic support and virtual assistance, you can go there as well. Or access to capital, how we can come alongside and provide you with capital to take your business to the next level. Go to NehemiahEcommunity.com or become a member. You know, it's great to listen to these podcasts and to watch them, and you're part of our community, what we call our social community. But we want you a member, because membership does have its benefits. So you want to be a member of one of the fastest growing entrepreneurship community in the world, with members from Asia, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and North America. Again, right down the website, you can go ahead and plug in and become a new member. We'll love to serve you and be a part of you guys. Well, with that said, let me pray for you again. Paul and Joyce, thank you so much. I'm going to pray for you. By the way, before I pray, there's a seminar coming up in the next couple of days, Thursday of this week, we have our Biblical Entrepreneur Seminar, our e-community seminar focused on financing your business. We're going to deal with tips and techniques on how to finance a business. And we'll share with you the story of 3 different entrepreneurs that we've helped them finance their businesses so that you can glean from them. And we'll show you how you can also finance your own business. So if you're not yet registered, you can click that link and register today. We still have space for you. This is one of our largest registration seminars that we've had throughout the year. But there's still space for you. Go ahead and register and be a part of this. Having said that, let me pray for you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord enable you to steward those talents that are under your care. And to steward those talents in such a way that, like Paul and Joyce, one day you can hear those wonderful words. Good done. Well done. Good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. He'll now make you ruler over much. God bless you. Again, Paul and Joyce, thank you so much. See you guys next time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.